Jacob, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham, was a man beloved of God. Jacob was grateful that his beloved wife is finally going to bear him a child. Rachel is expecting her first child with her husband Jacob, who has 10 sons. The child was named Joseph. One day, he had a dream about the moon and stars going before him. His 10 brothers, envious of him, threw him in a pit in the field. Removing his coat of many colors, Jacob, his father, gave to him Judah. One of them suggested he was sold to the Midianites instead, who sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Joseph was put in charge of all Potiphar had, for God was with him, and he prospered greatly. The wife of Potiphar, seeing Joseph was fair to behold, sought to seduce him, but he escaped, leaving his garments behind, for he feared the Lord. Joseph is jailed. She had lied against him. Years went by, and Joseph is now in charge of fellow prisoners. While in prison, he interpreted Pharaoh butler's dream, narrating how he'll be released while his colleague, the baker, will be killed. Events happened the way Joseph narrated, but the butler forgot him and didn't mention him to Pharaoh as promised. Two years later, Pharaoh had a very disturbing dream no one could interpret. Then did the butler remember Joseph. He mentioned him to Pharaoh.
The Pharaoh asketh of thee. Quick, get thyself ready.
He began to narrate his dream to Joseph.
In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river. And, behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow. And, behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning. So I awoke. And I saw in my dream, and, behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And, behold, 7 ears, withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me.
God hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do.
The 7 good kine, he continue, are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one, and the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt, that food may be stored against the 7 years of famine.
Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? Forasmuch as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. Your name shall be called Zapnath-paneah.
And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh gave Asenath the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, as his wife. 7 years later there was great famine through the land, and Jacob's 10 sons traveled to Egypt to look for food. Joseph, though recognizing them, said to them,
Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. By the life of Pharaoh ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh surely ye are spies. Put them in the ward thence.
Joseph wanted to see his brother Benjamin. They brothers left for Canaan, finding food and money in their sacks. Convincing their reluctant father, Jacob, they brought their brother Benjamin to Egypt, for they were short of food in Canaan. Joseph and Benjamin's mother, Rachel, died while birthing her second child, Benjamin. Joseph, now emotional, did show them who he was, but filled their sacks with food and money. Joseph also commanded his servants to put his silver cup in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn. While they leave for Canaan, Joseph's servants withstood. Then on their way, accusing them of stealing, they were forced to return to Egypt. They have found the silver cup in Benjamin's sack. Perplexed, they try persuading Joseph to let Benjamin go. Joseph, now too emotional, revealed who he was and hugged his brother as they wept. Joseph had no hurt against his brothers, thought they did him so much evil. Pharaoh, hearing of all that had happened, asked them all to relocate to Egypt with their father Jacob.
Art thou truly my son Joseph?
Joseph took the news of his brethren's arrival to Egypt to the Pharaoh.
My father and my brethren, and their flocks, and their herds, and all that they have, are come out of the land of Canaan, and, behold, they are in the land of Goshen.
Do as you please, Joseph.
I brought 5 of the men. Behold, they are here.
Pharaoh inquired about what they do for a living. Sent for Jacob, Joseph's father. Jacob blessed him, saying,
Thou art blessed, O Pharaoh.
How old art thou?
The days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage. I bless thee, this day, O Pharaoh. May the Lord, who brought me safely out of
The children of Israel prospered greatly in the land of Goshen in Egypt. 14 years later, Jacob became sick for old age and said to Joseph,
My son, I will be gathered unto my fathers soon. Call thy 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, that I may bless them.
My father.
Come here, my son Joseph.
Jacob blessed his children and died.
Embalm my father, Jacob, for his body shall be taken from Egypt in the fullness of time. For I shall carry him into the land of Canaan, and bury him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession of a burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Mamre.
I shall do as you say, my lord.
He was mourned throughout Egypt for 40 days and carried to Mamre for burial. He is indeed blessed of God.